Yeah, LTL True Crime, we going deep in the dark. Yeah, peeling back the layers, expose the hidden mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie, getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi. LTL True Crime, unraveling the web of evil. No stone left unturned, we dive into the pond. Yeah, we digging up the dirt, bringing justice to the crime. LTL True Crime, unveiling dark realities every time. Yeah, LTL True Crime, we going deep in the dark. Peeling back the layers, expose the hidden mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie, getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi. LTL True Crime, go. People can live in the shine, but then I'm not talking about it, that's so. People go put in your world. No punctuation lie. Good punctuation low. We thought it done. Yeah, we thought it died. Better than running the boats. Hey, I pick down true crime. We go with dark realities every time. This year. Yeah, I pick down true crime. We go with dark realities every time. Yeah, LTL True Crime. We going deep in the dark. Yeah, peeling back the layers, expose the hidden mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie, getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi. LTL True Crime. We going deep in the dark. Yeah, peeling back the layers, expose the hidden mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie, getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi. LTL True Crime, we going deep in the dark. Yeah, peeling back the layers, expose the hidden mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie, getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi.
All right. I was muted. Thank you very much. We'll try this again. Let's back up. On March 8th, 2024, 22-year-old Riley Strain, the 6'7" University of Missouri college student, disappeared following his expulsion from Luke's 32 Bridge and Food and Drink in Nashville, Tennessee. Strain informed his fraternity brothers of his intentions to return to his hotel room, but yet he never made it back nor reached out to them afterwards. My friends, that's where we are right now in Riley's case. And I've been following this, behind the scenes ever since this story broke. I keep seeing things on the news that's coming up in my algorithm. And I said, you know what? I think this is a perfect time to start kind of digging into this case. Again, I'm still getting very familiar with it, but I think we're going to have a lot of guidance here. I like to use Banfield because I think Banfield does a very good job. She's done multiple interviews with Riley's parents, and we're going to be able to go through that tonight and this evening. And I'm actually really excited to dig into this because there's a lot of mystery surrounding this case. And I put a poll up this afternoon, and I asked the community, what do you think? What do you think in this case? And I will pull this up here. Give me a second and show you kind of the results of what we have so far. So let's see. I asked this afternoon, what do you think happened to Riley Strain? 29% murdered, 50% fell into the river. 2% disappeared on his own, and then a 19% saying they are not sure. I appreciate everybody taking that poll today. We had 205 people that answered. I really do appreciate that. So let's dig into this. We'll see what we can come up with and see what we can figure out here. And I'd love to see what all of your opinions are about this. I'm sure you've all been following it. Had some really great interaction today on Facebook. A lot of people reaching out to the post that I did post on there, and I appreciate that as well. So let's do this. Let's pull up this article from the New York Post. So what do we know about the mysterious disappearance of Riley Strain? So far, we go back into my opening monologue here. I talked about Riley Strain is a college student that went missing after being kicked out of Luke's 32 Bridge and Food drink in Nashville on March 8th, 2024. Strain told his University of Missouri fraternity brothers that he was going back to his hotel room, but he never arrived. Surveillance footage shows him walking down the hotel, and we'll show that here in a minute, walking towards a hotel before making a wrong turn. His cell phone last pinged about a mile from the bar. I also heard they found a debit card near the riverbank. There was some rumors about his shirt being seen on a homeless person. So I'm curious to see what some of the follow-up is on that as well. Surveillance. So we went over that. According to Luke Bryan owned bar, Strain only purchased one alcoholic drink. Now, when I watched the video, it doesn't look like he had one drink, and we're going to play that, and we'll be able to see his condition. Purchased one alcoholic drink and 2 waters the night he went missing. The 22-year-old's parents have claimed he was overserved. The student's bank card was found 4 days later on an embankment of the Cumberland River by 2 TikTokers searching the area. And thank God for those TikTokers. Thank God for those creators that got out there, boots on the ground, because this could have been missed. This could have been missed by police and search teams. And it's so great that they found that, because it adds more pieces to this puzzle and this mystery of where Riley is. A local homeless man was allegedly saw a very, very intoxicated Strain almost fall over the edge of the trail into the river. Strain was also spotted by a police officer near the river, according to body cam footage. The college senior sent a bizarre text message that said, "Good lopes," to a love interest before vanishing, according to a family friend. So, like I said, very, very interesting. A lot of mystery to what's going on. Seems like some of the puzzle pieces are coming together, but hopefully they can find this young man. So let's do this. So we have the basics here. I have another article that I'm going to pull up. Actually, here, we got a map here that I found of the actual timeline. So let's take a look here. Hope everybody can see this on the screen. Hang on one second. I got a major foot cramp going on right now. Oh, I got to stand up for a second. Hang on. Nothing like starting with a foot cramp. Nothing like starting with a foot cramp. Good Lord, that's a good one. Margaret said, I just Googled good lopes and it came up as good Lord. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, by the way, I want to thank, let's see real quick. I want to thank, let's see. Dina Jam, thank you so much for the 5 that you sent 4 minutes ago on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate the support. And shout out to Microdots. If you haven't checked out any of their merch, please do. Their merch is awesome. I'm loving my Microdot shirt. I have a hat that I picked up and a long sleeve as well. And shout out to Microdots. All right, let's see this. So Kelly says, today we work to confirm as much of Riley Strain's last known path as possible. This is back on March 13th. We have new surveillance video, but there's really nothing beyond James Robert Parkway Bridge in Gay Street area. His bank card has not been used, and his phone was last pinged at 9:58 p.m. So this is about a week ago, this little map here. And it says, 1, he leaves Luke Bryan's bar circa at 9:40 p.m. He walks up. Riley is on escape game cam at 9:43 p.m. Then they see him. Riley falls on a video at 9:45. He makes it to Riley crossing Neat First Street. Makes it up to his last cell phone ping is at 9:58 p.m. And the last video of Riley is up in along where the Musician Hall Museum is. The thing that just kind of pops out to me right away, made it down that street close to that riverbank. That scares me. If you're intoxicated, possibility of slipping into that river and that river pulling you down, downstream. That scares me a little bit. I don't know if he was pushed. I don't know if he was attacked, but I would say just the first look at this, in my opinion, not good being near that river. That's pretty scary. So let's do this. Let's look through the actual surveillance footage that I found. And let's play this and see if we see anything here. Now, this was about 8 days ago. It says surveillance footage of Riley Strain in downtown Nashville taken from downtown smoke and vape shop on Church Street. So it looks like he's running, which is interesting. Ben says they should have found him within days. The river is dammed just down the river. Interesting. And I just saw someone else saying that. Mindy says, I heard the frat brothers are lawyered up now. Interesting. Lots of interesting going on. Caroline says, more videos have come out since the police body cam video. Thank you for that tip. Again, I'm just dipping my toes into this and kind of getting myself in this. I want to learn more about this, and that's why I wanted to do this with all of you tonight. All right, let's take a look here. See what we got. So he looks like he was running. He's stopping. Very tall guy. Definitely on something. Intoxicated. Damn, he's tall. 6'7". Big kid. How can you miss someone that's 6'7"? Wow. Very intoxicated. Something going on. Medical emergency, maybe? Could there be a medical emergency going on? All right. Well, let's see here. Everything we know about Riley Strain.
He's under duress and in a situation where he's not allowed.
This was 7 days ago. Let's play
to
this.
Get in contact with someone, or he's unfortunately no longer with us.
A college student missing after a night out in Nashville with his frat brothers. Now, newly released security camera video provides the latest
be a head
clue
injury
in the disappearance of Riley Strain.
I really do think that had they had a buddy with them, maybe this could have been stopped.
This is 22-year-old Riley Strain. He's a senior at the University of Missouri, where he's studying business. He's set to graduate from Mizzou this spring. Ahead of that, Riley and some of his Delta Chi frat brothers headed to Nashville for an annual conference. Here's where things go wrong. It was about 9:30 p.m. on Friday, March 8th. Riley's friends reported to police he'd been kicked out of Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Drink. That's Luke Bryan's bar on Broadway in downtown Nashville. Bartenders.
Man, how bad does Luke Bryan feel right now? You know, that's probably weighing on him, I would think. You know, I think there was a statement that he made. Let's see. Let's see if he made a statement. Yeah, he did make a statement. He said, let's see. Oh, God, these websites are so awful. Luke Bryan, downtown Nashville, missing drunk college student, says during Riley's visit to Luke's show, the record shows alcohol drink. The bar statement comes after Riley's parents insisted their son was overserved. Bartender said that he had been overserved. Let's see, the bar. Did Luke Bryan actually come out and even say anything? Let's see. I'll play through this, see what I can find.
Later told investigators that Riley had been overserved. As he was kicked out, Riley got separated from his friends. He did speak on the phone with one friend, though, saying he was headed back to the hotel. He hasn't been heard from since. To understand the investigation so far, we sat down with former CIA officer and FBI agent Tracy Walder. How does a missing persons investigation begin? I know that the first hours are really crucial.
Okay, I have this
Well, so
statement
it
from Luke
sounds
Bryan.
like
I'll play
with
that in a
him,
second.
it was reported missing pretty quickly, within the span of just a few hours when his friends couldn't get a hold of him. Typically, in the case of an adult,
Ah,
there is a lot
thank
of
you, Steve.
time, about 24 hours, that needs to pass before they will go ahead and label that person a missing persons. But because the situation was such where he was basically asked to leave the bar and then disappeared, they were actually able, in my opinion, to get a jump on the case pretty quickly. I think the first thing that they would have done, obviously, after initiating the call to police, was look at cameras. I think cameras would be a huge help in a case like this because it's immediate and you can go to those stores and go to those storefronts and ask them for their cameras. This is kind of a dense area, this Broadway area. And I am 100% sure that all of the stores have some kind of functional camera. So that would be the first place that I think they looked at. I also think too, it's going to take a while for them to get the actual meat of cell phone data, meaning, what was in text messages and those kinds of things, but they probably tried to locate his phone.
Well, I think, Robin, this is kind of the world we live in now. We're told to stay to ourselves, keep to ourselves. We're told to not talk to anybody anymore. We're told to not have conversations. And I think it's interesting when we break those rules, you come to find out you have a lot more in common with people. And we actually break down a lot of walls when you open yourself up and have some conversations. Well, that's why I love these. I love what I do here. We can have a kind of virtual conversation, kind of put our heads together, and some things we may agree on, some things we may not agree on. And that's the wonderful thing about doing these podcasts. What I love doing about it, that you may be in agreements with me, you may be in disagreements, and we can learn a lot from this stuff. Different angles and different ways to look at things. But that's the problem. We're not out there talking like we should, and we're not using our brains anymore. We hear the mainstream media come in. Keep to yourself. Don't talk to people. Don't say when you need help. Stay quiet. If you're in a situation that might ruffle some feathers, keep to yourself. Don't say anything. If authority comes and talks to you, be quiet. We don't do that anymore. We don't have conversations. And it's a shame because like said, someone maybe said, hey, you all right? You need some help? You could have got this young man some help or point him in a direction away from that river and put him in a better direction and something like that. Okay, let's keep playing through here.
Through some of the apps that he used, which would be something that they can do rather quickly.
According to reports, Riley's friends tried to track his location via Snapchat, but were unable to find him. Investigators say Riley's phone pinged for the last time at about 10:15 p.m. on the opposite side of Nashville from his hotel. Where does the investigation go from here now that we can't track him on his phone?
So I think the first thing that they're probably going to have to do, and it's my understanding too that they've started with helicopters as well. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I had read. And so I think that is one thing that they're going to do, try to cover a larger amount of area. In my opinion, it sounds to me like there's a 25-minute, I guess, gap from when he was asked to leave the bar to when sort of that last ping was on his cell phone. In my opinion, I don't think he got very far as a result of that. I think he probably got lost. And so I think the next thing they're going to do is start searching the river because the river is close by. And so I would imagine they're going to have radar and sonar in the river shortly.
So far, the Metro Nashville Police
Man,
Department
wow,
says
look
both
at that.
air and land searches
Like,
have
why
been
is no one-
unsuccessful in finding Riley.
Why is no one at this point, cars driving by obviously saw him fall. Now, why is someone not calling 911 or getting out and saying, hey, you all right? You need help?
They also checked all hospitals and jails nearby and have come up empty-handed. Investigators are now combing through security camera video
Wow.
to make note of Riley's last movements before he vanished. The video released this week shows Riley walking alone down the street. Riley appears to be stumbling along as he walks. In this video, you see Riley run into the frame on the right side of the screen before he falls over. He ends up laying on the ground and even struggling to get up. It's about 20 seconds before Riley finally stands up and walks away. This video is the last time we see Riley with any other people. He's alone, but near a crowd of people crossing the street. As he gets to the other side of the road, you can see Riley trip as he stumbles onto the curb. For a second, he seems to follow along with the group before stopping, stumbling, and turning in a full circle before walking off. Walter says it's apparent by the video that Riley was heavily intoxicated.
In my opinion, it's incredibly sad. It sounds to me like he was probably asked to leave the bar because he was quite intoxicated and most likely creating, I guess, a scene, if you will, there.
According to local Tennessee outlets, 2 homeless people reported seeing Riley late Friday night, but these reports haven't been confirmed by police. The last place anyone for sure saw Riley in person was at Luke Bryan's bar. Since Riley's disappearance, Bryan has taken to Instagram, writing, quote, TC Restaurant Group operator and owner of Luke's 32 Bridge is continuing to work closely with the Metro Nashville Police Department to provide security camera footage and any other potential.
So I wonder if like something like this is like a franchise situation where they just kind of use his name and then allow these bars, he may come in and have the design that this franchise has to run. I know it seems like it's a group that owns this, but probably using his name and his likeness and the design. But he's got to kind of step in and say something because his name is on the bar itself, and probably at one point was affiliated when we maybe started these and they turned into franchise. I don't really know much about Luke Bryan. I know who he is, but I don't know about his restaurant businesses. But that would be my guess. Okay, let's keep playing through here.
Helpful information to aid in the search for Riley Strain. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones for his safe return. Walter says it's unclear whether foul play is involved or if Riley simply made a wrong turn and got lost.
I'm obviously just hypothesizing at this point. I personally think because there is a body of water nearby and because this is a city that he's not necessarily from. He goes to Mizzou, right? This is a place they go once a year. It sounds like for basically a fraternity formal or something like that. So it's a place he's not familiar with that well. And so I personally think that he got lost or passed out and suffered, death from alcohol intoxication. That's just my guess. But again, I'm completely hypothesizing here.
Because Riley and his friends came from Missouri, Walter says Nashville officials will work with Mizzou as part of the investigation.
They're probably questioning all of his friends. I mean, they have to in a case like this because, as you mentioned before, they're trying to determine if this was foul play, an accident, something of that nature. So his friends will go back to college, but they will be questioned, obviously, with the help of counselors. It sounds like the university has issued a statement that they're being, incredibly cooperative. They want to find him too. So it's not that unusual. I was in a sorority in college and we actually had formals out of state. It was just something we did, whether it's safe or not. Obviously we can debate that, but this is just something it sounds like they did every year. This wasn't his first time going there. And so I would imagine they are working with the university, which in my opinion is a good thing in this case, because it isn't just, I guess, a kind of this unorganized trip. It's an organized trip. The fraternity is working with them and the university is working with them. And I actually think that's a good thing.
As far as the investigation into finding where Riley is now, I know that the Metro Nashville Police Department is seemingly leading the investigation. They're the one putting out videos, things like that. Is it possible that the FBI could get involved or any other organizations?
They could. The Nashville PD is a very large, very capable police department, has a lot of resources at their disposal. So they will always lead the case.
I want to stop this really quick. Tyrone says, hey, 100% Brian, I'm not a crime junkie, but your channel is very interactive with the people. Definitely keeps me engaged. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. We want to bring people from all walks of life and bring people into this. And I get it. Like, a lot of the subjects on here might not be totally what people are into, but I have many ideas for LTL True Crime. Believe me, this is going to be, when I get into my studio in about 2 weeks and start building it out, there's going to be a lot of changes that go on. I think a lot of positive changes that are going to open up, excuse me, the possibilities of what LTL can be. I'm super excited about it. Yes, it has been stressful trying to put it all together, but I think once you see what I'm trying to accomplish and do in that space, I think it will blow all of you away. And there's going to be a lot of things that we get into. I'm not going to do true crime all all the time. You know, I have many other things that I want to get into, but we got to get in there, get the studio built, and see what the possibilities are. So I appreciate that. Steve says your show is cool and all, but it would be so much better if it was in a studio. Yes, we'll be there April 1st. I'll be able to get in and start building it out. I actually started putting some balance sheets together. I'm getting all my audio equipment, my lighting, and all that put together here pretty soon. And my girlfriend and I went out and looked at some furniture the other night, last night. So we're getting there. It's going to take time, but we're going to be able to do it. So super, super excited. All right, let's get back to the video from Law and Crime.
My guess is maybe they will bring in the FBI just because it's multi-jurisdictional, right? You have students who are in Missouri, and then you have students who are
Allie.
obviously
Appreciate that.
perhaps still in Nashville. I don't know. Also, I think in terms of processing phone data, because there is an urgency, they want to try to find him alive.
you,
Maybe they will bring in the FBI to sort of expedite that, if you will. But other than that, I don't see the FBI taking point on this case, if that makes any sense.
While there's still a chance that Riley is found safe, Walder says that possibility is slim. And now we're pushing almost a week since he was last seen. Is it possible that he's still alive and is safe somewhere?
I always want to be delicate, to the families, because I don't know how I would feel, but it's been a week. This is a 22-year-old, obviously capable male who would find a way, in my opinion, to get in contact with his.
Well, Garrett, that's the plan. That is the plan. It's building the trust with the community. Channels take a very long time to grow. I mean, it's not going to be a live guest every single night. I will continue to do shows like this as well too. But it's just getting live guests. It's getting them to want to come in and sit down at LTL and tell us their story or their situation. So many channels take years to be successful. It doesn't happen overnight. But my plan is to try to do the best that I can. And that's what I've always tried to do on this channel. And I think that some of the guests that I've gotten so far to come on, virtually have been pretty frigging amazing. I've had some really awesome people over here, and I've been very thankful and to be able to do that. And now to expand and actually have someone sit next to me will be great, but it's not going to be every night. I'm not going to have a live guest every night because people have schedules and lives, and they may live far away or whatever. But I'm going to try to commit myself to the local community as much as I can, but I will still continue to follow national cases as well too. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. We just got to get in there and get it built out and go from there. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go.
His family or his friends. So I either think one, he's under duress and in a situation where he's not allowed to get in contact with someone, or he's unfortunately no longer with us.
According to Walder, things could have been handled differently after Riley got separated from his friends.
I don't mean to blame his friends.
Cat Toes chiming in says, listen, there is an update that the husband and wife came forward and said that they spoke to Riley and said to him, "You're not driving, are you?" And Riley replied, "No." Thank you for that update. Shelly says, this is my absolute favorite channel on YouTube. Thank you for what you do, Brian. Well, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're a subscriber, and I'm glad this is your favorite channel on YouTube. It's a very nice honor. I appreciate that. Bo says, I love LTL. Thank you. Kate says, I think you do a great job. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for all being here. Let's see. Who do you think the first guest will be live in the studio? Not endless. It's a surprise. I'm going to tell you who it is. It will be my dad. My dad will be the first guest in my studio when he's ready. When he's ready. I have already made that commitment to him. And I told him, I said, I want you to be the first guest to come in. And he agreed. So I think it's going to be great. Okay, let's keep playing through.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because I have a friend who, gosh, I had known since she was 5. And she was actually murdered. She was the victim of a serial killer when she was a freshman in college. And she was asked to leave a bar because she was too intoxicated. And her sorority sisters didn't accompany her home. And as a result, she was kidnapped and killed by a serial killer. And I think that you need to stay with a friend. A friend needs to go with you, especially when you are that intoxicated. And I'm not saying that he was murdered by someone else. He could have fallen into the river and drowned in the state that he was in. but that is a very dangerous state. And so I think it's highly problematic that he was left to go on his own. It's a delicate situation. I don't want to blame his friends, but I guess that's my message for younger folks in these kinds of situations, to always have a buddy with you.
And for others going out with friends, Walder says there are ways to stay safe.
You know, we talk about it a lot in regards to females, right? Like guard your drink, never leave without, a friend. But I think the same applies to males as well, especially when they're in intoxicated states. Always two, right, is that sort of magic number. You don't have to have a group of 10 when you leave, but one person needs to be designated to go home. Never let someone go home by themselves, particularly if they are in an intoxicated state. And I always think that I call it custody of your drink, and not allowing anyone else, to have access to your drink is always key. But I know I'm oversimplifying it, but in the case of
Poll at the
a friend
top.
from a long time ago, Rachel, and
Tell
I
me
think in
what you
this case
think.
as well, I really
What happened to Riley? Poll at the top. Let's get some results. All right, let's go on to Banfield. This is about 7 days ago. Let's see what Banfield had to say. This is going to be the first videos that we saw, and she's going to play through this 7 days ago. Here we go.
Is the very last sighting of Riley Strain right next to Cumberland River. And so that seems to be where the police are focusing their search, on foot and by boat and in the air. Riley's family and friends have come to help out, and two of them are with me live tonight. Chelsea Strain is Riley's cousin, and Chris Dingman is a friend of the family. Thank you both for coming on the program tonight. Chelsea, can I just start with you? Are there any updates yet? Anything that the police have told you?
No, a lot of people are trying to keep me out of it as much as possible. Chris knows a lot more. The family's mostly talking to him about it.
Chris, do you know anything?
There are details.
Have you heard anything, Chris? Any updates in the last bit?
Yes, actually, this evening we had a candlelight vigil here.
Yeah, actually, I do. I have a full-time job. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep playing.
For Riley at his hometown.
I have a full-time job. I do LTL true crime here in my spare time, which is pretty much like a full-time job as well. I put awful lot into this, mostly on my days off. I'm compiling stories and putting things together and presentations together for the amazing audience that comes over here to watch this channel and support LTL True Crime. I spend a lot of time into the presentations, visual presentations, and yeah, I balance a lot of things in my life, so I appreciate that. Thanks for asking. All right, let's keep playing.
In Springfield, and we had an excellent turnout. Literally moments before we went to the vigil, I was talking to family members that are currently downtown Nashville searching, and we have found another homeless person that had acknowledged Riley had been in that area. This now makes two people that has done confirmation. These are areas that the camera had stops. We don't have any footage, and basically the areas where his phone
Thanks,
was
Jack.
pinging.
Appreciate that.
But we now do have visual confirmation from two different homeless camps that Riley was in that area.
Did the first or second homeless witness lend any more information to the tracking? Like, we have just been mapping out that tracking. Did this new witness, this new homeless person, lend any useful information to the search?
Where we're at right now, and it's still a little confusing because this literally come about 5 minutes before we went to the other vigil tonight. I don't remember which bridge, which homeless person has been, but it is in same conjunction of what we have been thinking. Riley was heading north on First Street, and it was in that area that both camps, which under my standing, there's two large bridges right there, which have large homeless camps underneath them. I think in each camp, Riley was seen in each one.
It's fascinating and still so perplexing. Chelsea, your cousin is 6'7" and 160 pounds. I mean, that is a very, very unique build. I don't know if I've ever met anybody that tall and that slim. And yet, not more people are able to say, oh, I absolutely saw that guy that night.
Yeah, we haven't really heard. I know there's not quite.
I appreciate that, Elliot. Thank you.
A lot of people that are coming out talking. I know they did a few interviews with the people that they've got camera footage from, that they saw him, but it's hard to watch the video and know that there were so many people around him and saw him, and none of them have really came to talk or came to say anything, or if they saw him go in a certain direction.
And certainly that can change, Chelsea, because it's getting a lot of coverage on television, the case of Riley's disappearance. And hopefully that will yield someone from that night who actually sees these videos and remembers, yeah, I was there. And I do remember seeing that guy because, again, you know, he's very unique. His stature is very, very unique. When you see the
I think
video,
that's the big thing that sticks out to me, and I don't mean to use the pun. You know, the 6'7". How do you miss someone that's 6'7"? You know, it's at 22 years old. I mean, that guy can easily dunk a basketball. You know, how do you lose sight of such a giant man, a tall man? It's just so puzzling.
Chelsea, what do you see in the video? Do you see your cousin, or do you see something very unlike your cousin?
I do not see Riley in any of those videos. That's just, I've never seen him like that, and I've been with him many, many times and many
That's
certain
disturbing.
occasions, and I've never seen him act or walk like that ever.
And it's not normal for him to wander off by himself, want to be alone, maybe take a couple days, just sort of check out?
No, all of us are very close with our families. We talk to, I know Riley and I both talk to our moms more than twice a day. We call, check in. We don't really like to be alone. We're very friendly people. We like to be around people all the time. So for him to wander off by himself and not just stand there or try to wait somewhere for his friends is just not like him.
So, Chris, I'm going to ask you the same kind of question with sort of a twist. When you see the video of Riley struggling, it doesn't seem like his friends were intoxicated at the same level. And there are a lot of people who have some theories about that. Do you?
We have some theories about possibly what would have happened at the bar. It's been wild that we've had such an excellent outpouring of people from Nashville, one trying to help find Riley, sending us information. We've had people that has sent us case situations of something similar to Riley's. We've had over 100 of those sent to us in the last 3 years. That's happened there. Me personally, I've known Riley since he was born, and he's like one of my kids. I do not see him. Riley was very loving.
It just would be a lot. That's, you know, I love the point. I love the initiative, but I think it would just be a lot. I mean, the bar's responsibility, you know, I think that would just be a very taxing on the operation. All bars everywhere need to stop kicking people to the curb. There should be a process to wait for a friend or call a ride or share something. I get it. Like, I understand what you're saying. I think it would just be logistically so much.
Very affectionate. He was extremely non-confrontational, which amazed a lot of people. He is a very tall kid. We called him our little sailboat because he was just so skinny he could just blow anywhere. But the things that we were told that happened in the bar situation just does not track with the Riley that we have known and been with our entire life. Several people that was in the vicinity at that bar has made the same comments watching the videos. Other fraternity brothers from even the past that has been brothers with Riley.
Yeah, bouncer's job's really just to stop trouble. You know, if you're causing trouble, they boot you out. So that's usually what it is. It's not really their responsibility to look after you. They just boot you out if you're causing a complaint or whatever.
We've yet to have anybody that said, oh, yeah, I've seen Riley in a position like that before. We want to thank Luke Bryant's restaurant. Naturally, we're not seeing any of the footage, but they immediately got with the police, turned over footage. They've been working with the police on this, and we greatly appreciate the help that they're trying to put forth. But there's definitely something wrong, we think, in that situation before Riley left the bar.
Yeah, I know there is some speculation that perhaps, you know, he was drugged and there might have been an attempt to rob him because, again, his friends did not seem to be suffering at the same level of intoxication that Riley was. We will continue to tell your story. I can't thank you both enough for coming on tonight.
All right, let's go to, all right, so that was about a week ago. Now we have from 3 days ago. This is when the bank card was found. Let's bring that up and see what they had here 3 days ago.
Today, a major find in the case of missing University of Missouri senior Riley Strain. Welcome to News 2 at 10.
Real quick, I'm just going to pull this up. Steve says, there should be a lesson in look out for each other as friends. Leave your friend if they need you. You could party another day. It doesn't have to be that night. I agree, Steve. You know, if you go out in a group, you should stay in a group, especially in an area that you're not familiar with. You don't know what's going on. You're just down there partying. You're drinking. Possibly drugs are being passed around or whatever. Stay in the group. Stay with your friends. You know, always the buddy system always works is a good thing. And 99.9% is effective in situations like this. Don't happen.
Kinley Hargett. Volunteers discovered his debit card as they were helping search along the Cumberland River. News 2's Nikki McGee shares this discovery.
Loops equals low on phone service. Maybe his battery was dying.
9 days after Riley was last seen.
Yeah, Kinley, well, I can tell you this has been a long and grueling search for Riley's family. Many of these search efforts being concentrated to right here where Riley's phone is believed to have been last pinged, either on top or below this bridge. But as you mentioned, today, a major break in the case right behind me here. Several women out searching discovered his debit card at the very bottom next to the Cumberland, and they hope this will lead police to a more narrow search and hopefully get answers for Riley's family.
I just met up with Brandy today. Like, I found her through TikTok, and it doesn't make sense that something so public, like, I feel like people should be here. People should be looking.
On Sunday, social media connected two Nashville women in the search for missing Mizzou student Riley Strain. And it didn't take long for them to come across a major discovery, his debit card.
I noticed that too.
He yelled, I found his card.
Yeah, I did.
And we immediately.
And my stomach dropped. And then my innate reaction was to be like, let's keep looking. Like, I didn't know what to do. She was like, well, let's call somebody. And I was like, well, let's keep looking.
Police confirmed on Twitter Sunday afternoon the bank card did in fact belong to Riley. Brandy Bainan, who has been searching the area since Tuesday, hopes this will lead to an even bigger search along the Cumberland.
I want the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations to be involved. This needs to be involved as a criminal case right now, not just a missing person, in my opinion, just to make sure we are crossing off everything that we need to cross off.
Both of these searchers encourage others to do what they can to assist in the search for Riley.
The fact that I could come out here in one day and myself find the card.
And look for a blue wallet, look for brown boots that are flat-toed, a size 15. Those are big boots.
Where is everybody getting the information that the fraternity brothers lawyered up? Because I don't see anything. I'm searching right now and I can't find anything about any of them lawyering up. Where's that coming from? Does anybody have an article or a tweet or anything that's confirmed? Because I don't see it anywhere in mainstream media reported.
Boots. That's going to be hard to miss, you guys.
Above all, they don't want to see the case go cold. Bainan wanting to share this message with Riley's family.
Their faces and Riley's face, I'm seeing every time I close my eyes. I haven't been able to sleep the last few days because I know his mom is not sleeping.
Where's it coming from?
And I just need them to know that there is people who do care as much as they do, and even about Riley and about them themselves, and that we really, really hope they are able to take care of themselves through whatever this outcome comes to.
Now, this evening, I did speak with Riley's parents here on scene. They were on their way to go talk to police, and that was a meeting they originally had set up for tomorrow morning. In the meantime, if you have any information in this case, of course, you're asked to give them a call right away. Reporting live in downtown Nashville, Nikki McGee, News 2.
All right, let's hear from Riley's parents. This is about 2 days ago. Here we go.
Today, the Nashville police held a special briefing for Riley's family. Yesterday, the Nashville police held a special briefing for Riley's family. They were able to look over evidence and ask the police officers questions. Riley's parents join me live now. His mom and stepfather, Michelle and Chris Whited, and his father, Ryan Gilbert. Thank you to all three of you for taking the time tonight to speak with me. And may I just say, I am so sorry for what you are all going through. I can't imagine the stress that you're under and how.
As of right now, before we get into this interview, I asked what happened to Riley. We had 80 votes. If you want to vote, you can vote there at the top of the chat. And if you want to support LTL True Crime, you can. I have my link up to the chat there. You can cash at me at $ LTL podcast, or click on the link and buy me a coffee. And we also have super chat option as well too. So we have what happened to Riley. 16% said murdered, 49% fell into the river, 4% said he disappeared on purpose, he left, and then 30% said not sure. Not sure. All right, let's hear from Riley's parents.
Traumatizing this must be. So let's get right to it. Let's help to drill down what we know and get the public working hard. So Michelle, you met with the police yesterday. Were they able to share anything with you that was at least satisfying? Anything that you're able to share with us or not able to share with us?
No, they just let us know where they are in the investigation and the videos that everybody has seen.
So what the media knows and what the public knows is the same as what you know, right?
Just a little bit. They, just so you know, we requested the meeting Friday afternoon late that we get to see the video footage. We had not seen anything or really heard from them too much throughout the week, the previous week. So we were getting frustrated. We wanted to see what they had. So it's not like this was one of those deals. It came up after we called them to tell them that the TikTokers had found the debit card because they didn't know that it had been found. Supposedly, they didn't know that the call had came in. We arrived before the police.
So I'll tell you what, I understand the sensitivity that you all are under. You do not want to criticize the police.
Team Brittany with a $10 super chat. I thank you so much. She says, thanks for covering this, Brian. Thank you so much, Team Brittany. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep
right now they are your lifeline to continuing this investigation, to finding Riley. I, on the other hand, I can. And I am steaming mad that I interviewed a woman who works with the homeless who says she could have sworn she saw that shirt on a homeless man who was acting in an unusual way, had an unusual behavior, and that he had a bike, which is not normal, didn't ask for food, which is not normal, and that the shirt was perfectly clean underneath his dirty hoodie. And she has not been questioned, even as of today when we checked back with her. So, Chris, I'll just ask you if you were able to talk to the police about this, if they mentioned anything about it, if they've discounted it in any way, and why.
They have not mentioned that to us at all. We are aware of that. We've heard the same comment. We've also heard multiple people that have tried to call Crime Stoppers and leave tips and been told they don't know anything about a Riley Strain case. So lots of confusion. We're struggling. We're 10 days in, it's
yeah, I can imagine. And I'll tell you what, like I said, I can criticize the police. I agree that you guys just have to keep your heads up and work with them. But Ryan, I will also say this, to have TikTok.
Team Brittany gifting the 5 memberships. Thank you. I appreciate that, Team Brittany. Welcome in new members. Let's see. Rachel K, new member. Lady T Ryder, new member. Thank you. Carly, new member. And Cat Toes, new member. And Dish 781. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let's see. I'm going to be, once I get into the studio, I'll be able to start doing more of the members only lives, because I want to do possibly Thursday nights, members only. We'll work around that. I got to get my schedule together once we get this up and going. Motion VIP, thank you so much for the 5. I think he says mug, shirt, hoodie. Awesome, brother. Thank you. Did you purchased a mug, shirt, and hoodie? You supported the channel. Thank you if you did that. Motion VIP says, gives me the $5 super sticker as well too. Thank you for the donations. I really do appreciate it. And if anybody's interested in any LTL merch, I got to start getting some hats up there. I'll drop my link to my merch store if you want to check it out. I got to start getting some better and more merch together. Oh, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Send me a photo. Send me a photo. I want to see what the mugs look like. I haven't even seen them in person. But send me a photo on Instagram. That'd be great. And if you want to get some merch for yourself, you can go to LTLTrueCrime right there.com. Click on that link and order some merch to support the channel. All right, let's get back to this. Thank you all for the donos. I appreciate it.
Talkers who volunteered to look for Riley, find that bank card in what looked like a homeless mess of discarded clothing and junk on the riverbed.
I got to get some
made
hats.
me really angry because I feel like it was right in the vicinity where Riley's phone pinged, and that there should have been a grid search done. This was found days and days after perhaps it should have been. Ryan, are they saying anything about that card and about the fact that it was TikTokers, not the police, that found it?
No, there hadn't necessarily been anything said about that. One would assume that since it was found in the vicinity of his last known whereabouts, that should have been canvassed pretty good. I think it just shines light on the B- job that the police force may be doing and following through and being detailed on this case. I know they're overwhelmed, but it was at the location, you know.
It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening that.
So Team Brittany again gives 5 memberships. Appreciate that, Team Brittany. Welcome in. Let's see. Linda was gifted a membership. Tsunami gifted a membership. Let's see. Hester Keeper membership as well. Sarah membership. White Paint. Love that name. That's awesome. Gifted a membership as well too. I appreciate that. My dad just texted me, said the river has a lot of bends and loops. How swift is the current? I believe that it's actually a pretty strong current. He says if he fell in, he could have got hung up on anything underwater. Makes a great point. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for chiming in. I love it. Thank you. My dad doesn't usually type in the chat. He'll just text me. He's old school. All right, let's keep playing here.
A member of the public who just wanted to help was able to find a critical piece of evidence that had the police done a grid search in that exact same area, might very well have seen it too. For instance, they're a lot more trained at searching than, say, a TikToker.
But very strong.
Michelle, it came to our attention today that Riley had been on the phone with, I think, either a girlfriend or somebody he had maybe started seeing. I'm not sure. Maybe you can characterize the relationship. And I think she asked him that night, "Are you having fun?" And the only text that she got back said something like, "Good lops," LOPS. And she couldn't understand what that meant. Can you shed some light on that communication, when it happened, what the circumstances were, and what happened afterwards?
I'm not able to. I don't know the communication that happened between him and her. I'm honestly, I'm not sure which. He's got several friends that are female,
they're out there today.
Male. I mean, I don't know who that individual was that he talked to at that time.
Thank you for watching.
All right, let's hear this. Yes, treacherous riverbank. He may have underestimated the treacherous riverbank. More from Banfield. Let's keep this rolling.
Navy's National
From a
Director
day
of
ago.
Operations. And I want to bring in David Flagg. He's the Navy's National Director of Operations. He was an organizer
saw
of
that
today's
article
press
today,
conference
Janet.
with
Thank you.
Riley's family. David, thank you so much for being with me right now. Let me ask you this. I have been so curious about that river behind you. Can you give me a feel for what that river's like? Is it deep? Is it dark? Is it murky? Is it wide? Is there a heavy current? Like, bring me up to speed on what you're dealing with.
Pretty much, yes, and yes. It is deep. It is dark. It's rather murky. The water level has dropped 4 to 6 feet since Riley went missing, and the flow rate has significantly reduced as well. But as any river, you know, a reduced flow rate is a relative term. It's slower than it was, but still capable of sweeping somebody away if they weren't careful.
Well, that's my next question. When you say that the river's down, is that helpful? Because there's presumably more embankment that you could see, and if there is a body, it might be easier to spot.
That's correct. Theoretically, yes. You know, it's exposed some more of the rocks, some more of the brush, things of that nature there. If there were a body in the river, it potentially could have surfaced and come ashore where it would be more visible now.
And how is it that you're determining? I'm just looking at the pictures of divers in the water. I understand they started diving Saturday. Where do you even begin diving? Like, what is it that would plant that flag and determine that's a good spot to start looking?
Well, some of these divers are private individuals, private volunteers who have, of their own volition, showed up to try and help locate Riley.
Thank you.
The police department, Nashville Police, has also had their dive team in the water. And it's, I mean, primarily it's where is the last.
Well, that's why you're not allowed to drink on beaches. You shouldn't have alcohol on a beach because what happens? People get drunk, they wander off, they end up in the ocean, and they pass away. Team Brittany coming in hard tonight with the gifted memberships. Thank you. Caroline, welcome to the membership group. Elliot, thank you. Welcome to the membership group. Carlene, welcome to the membership group. Midlife Nancy, thank you, and welcome to the membership group. And Robert, welcome to the membership group. A membership gives you access to my members only content that's on my homepage. You can scroll down there and watch any of the old members only content, or if I do a members only live, which I'm going to start doing once I get into my studio, at least once every 2 weeks, to give back to the members and just do kind of like some behind the scenes type of stuff for the members only. So thank you, Brittany. Appreciate that. All right, here we go.
Place that this person was seen.
If your membership is good for a month, gives you access for 1 month. And if that runs out, what a monthly membership does is it helps supports the channel. If you want to re-up it, you can. You don't have to do what the gifted membership's a $4.99 option. I would appreciate it. But if you don't want to do that, there's an option as low as $1.99. $1.99 is less than literally a cup of coffee, and it helps keep the lights on here in the studio. And I have a very expensive studio to be paying for soon. So any help that would be appreciated. I appreciate it. All right, let's keep going.
You have to have a starting point. In this case, the last place that Riley was seen was along the walk on Gay Street here. And, you know, with his debit card being found
look at that
where
sonar.
it was,
Look at
that gives a logical
That's
starting
wild.
place.
Look at that sonar. That's crazy. You got temperature, you have let's see, GPS, looks like depth, that's 11 feet, the time of the scan, what else, supply, I don't know what that would mean in a 11.4, 11.5, looks like feet. Interesting.
For, you know, dive teams, boats with sonar, potentially cadaver dogs, anything of that nature, but you do have to start somewhere.
I'm seeing some pictures also of a canine that's in one of the boats.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, I can't imagine a canine on the water, but is that canine just being transported to different areas of the embankments and then doing a quick scan?
That's the question that's come up a lot. Everybody's asking that in the chat. Let's go back up to the poll here really quick. So 118 votes in the poll. 18% say murdered. 52% said fell in the river. 3% think he just kind of disappeared on his own, and 27% said they're not sure yet. Still not sure. All right, let's keep
Of
playing.
an embankment and returning to the boat?
No, not necessarily. A lot of the cadaver dogs, matter of fact, most cadaver dogs are capable of picking up a scent of a cadaver that is in the water. So it's a little bit of both. The dog is, you know, trained to pick up that scent in the water, on the water, as well as on land.
So wait, that's fascinating. First of all, I wanted to ask you if there are any other dogs other than just cadaver dogs, maybe a scent dog looking to follow Riley's scent on land. I'll get to that in a moment, but back to the cadaver dog. If the cadaver dog is in the boat on the surface and there's a cadaver many feet down, can the dog actually detect
Right,
that?
Ben.
Well, I don't know what the dog's specific limitations are, but the short answer is yes. If there is a body in the water, cadaver in the water, the dogs are capable of detecting that scent.
Do you know of any other canines who might be tracking Family might have been able to provide something of Riley's with Riley's scent so that they could let them loose in that very small area. This is what, I mean, I'm so frustrated. The area where Riley disappeared is small, and it would seem to me you could flood the zone and accomplish a lot on land as well. Have you seen any evidence of tracking dogs?
Well, I personally had some discussions with the investigator from Nashville PD on this, and we discussed the possibility of using tracking dogs. And I also spoke with a local dog trainer who also trains tracking dogs. And it was determined that because of the time lapse between when Riley went missing and the circumstances around it, that a tracking dog would probably not be effective. The other part of that equation is that this riverbank, what you're showing in your picture.
I mean, look at that riverbank. All the rocks come down on that. It's all jagged. Someone just slips, forget it. It's taking you right in. You're just going to be swept away. I mean, that's a pretty steep embankment. You could fall, twist your ankle, break your leg, especially if you're intoxicated or drugged. I don't know. I mean, my guess right now, I'm thinking this poor guy fell into the river, and that's it. Just couldn't make it. You know, drunk, got overwhelmed by the current, lost his position where he was, got disorientated. And that's it. And that cold water, I mean, that water's 54 degrees right now. That's freezing cold. That's not warm. That's pretty cold water.
There.
Hypothermia sets in, forget it. It's sad.
Looks relatively flat, relatively easy to traverse, and nothing could be further from the truth. I went down the riverbank with two girls who found the debit card today, and it is absolutely treacherous. I doubt that you could get a dog down that embankment safely with a handler. As a matter of fact, we've had people come forward to volunteer to do a search in that area, and I've decided to turn them away unless they have specific search and rescue training, because it's that treacherous. I mean, I'm not the best guy that's in the best shape in the world, but I had trouble staying vertical down there.
It is distressing to hear that, David Flagg, because it makes me think if you're inebriated, it would be very easy to tumble down into that water. And as you mentioned, faster moving at the time that Riley
I do too,
disappeared.
Tyrone.
David Flagg, thank you so much. I hope I can get you back on the program to update us as you continue the work.
All right, let's keep going through here. Let's see. Retracing the steps. We're going to look back. Retracing the steps is from a day ago. Let's pull this up and see what But Banfield has to say. I like Banfield. She usually gets the families on and does a good job. All right, let's keep playing.
Maps are important, and security cameras and critical witnesses, all that's invaluable. But to really understand the last known wanderings of a college student who hasn't been seen or heard from in 11 days, you have to be there. And my colleague, Evan Lambert, is. He's live in Nashville.
Caroline says, I think he's in the was in the parking lot and foul play was involved. So she doesn't agree with falling in the water part. Maybe he was beat up and dragged to the river and thrown in. They took his debit cards, his cash. She doesn't think that that he just fell and slipped in the river. Motion VIP says, I got the pink mug from my mother and she loves her coffee in the mornings. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mom, for getting the pink LTL coffee mug. That's great. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep playing.
Tonight, he spent part of the day retracing Riley Strain's steps. Evan, I'm so glad you're doing this, because even with the maps, I get confused. Can you walk me through Riley's path?
Yeah, Ashley, with those several data points on the map, it is confusing, especially if you don't know the area. And so we did spend a good part of the day walking around. And what I can tell you from the area here by the river where we are, where Riley Strain was last seen, to really where this story starts at the first bar that he was asked to leave. It's really only about a 15-minute or so walk if you're walking directly. Of course, we don't know the exact route he took because we have little pieces on surveillance video, but it is not terribly far away. But we took a look at all of those points a little bit earlier.
Good point, Mary.
9:35 on the night, Riley Strain goes missing. According to Luke Bryan's bar here on the corner of Broadway and 3rd, he was asked to leave after being served 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. Then 11 minutes later, a surveillance camera at downtown Smoke Shop catches Strain running and then falling near a pole in the parking lot. He gets up and continues out of the frame. A minute later, another camera catches him cross First Avenue North to Gay Street. At this point, he's less than half a mile from Broadway. And finally, our last pictures of Strain are here. Body camera video catches him interacting with a Metro Nashville police officer and appearing to be fine.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you? Good.
This is just across from the Cumberland River, and take a look at how steep this is in this area. It's basically a cliff, some 30, 40 feet down to the water's edge. This whole area is covered with litter, debris, trash, homeless encampments. This is where TikTokers say they found Strain's debit card. It is nowhere near, about a half mile away from his hotel, which is off in that direction, nowhere near where he's seen walking and his last cell phone pings are. And so it's very clear, Ashley, where the last pictures and the last cell phone pings are. Riley was not.
So I found that 911 call. We'll play it here in a second. Hey, Motion VIP, thanks for checking in. I appreciate you. I really, really do appreciate you. I'm gonna play that 911 call in a minute. We'll hear that
Anywhere
right
in the
after this
direction
video.
of the hotel that his friends thought he was going to make it to. Ashley?
Okay, Evan, I have this one question for you. In that last part of your stand-up, you're standing under a bridge, right? And that's typically where a lot of people would congregate because there's shelter. So there's a lot of homeless people who use, areas under bridges. Was it a walkway though? Like I was struggling to find out, would Riley have ended up walking under that bridge, or would he have had to decide to leave a walkway, scramble down to some people down there to have a chat? Like how would he have ended up in that spot if he was?
Yeah, so where we are, there is a sidewalk that goes around, and there's a balustrade, and then essentially a cliff, as I showed before, 30, 40 feet down to the riverbank. Now, there are a couple other areas of land a little bit over that guardrail, so maybe 15 feet down, there's some land, and then you can walk further down. But it's not designed really for people to go down there. But some people do, and that's where some of the people that are experiencing homelessness, that's where their encampments are, in those woods just over the guardrail. So you would have to be very intentional, or just really not having coordination at all, inebriated to the point where you might be sitting up and potentially fall, and then possibly roll down even further. But it is really a dramatic. When I got here, I didn't understand just how far it is from where we are standing, where Riley was walking in that body camera video, to the river embankment all the way down. And it's almost like you'd really have to try, but there is a way that if you were so inebriated that we saw him falling, it is possible that he fell and continued to go down that direction. Under the bridge, there is another bridge that he would have potentially crossed underneath after that video, but that's just along this sidewalk right here. So you're no stairs or anything to get down there.
It's mysterious. I mean, just perplexing. Evan Lambert, thank you for that. Just want to let our audience know it's 20 minutes, like less than 20 minutes from the moment he left that bar to where his cell phone, went out. He disappeared in less than 20 minutes.
Wow.
If you have information about Riley's disappearance, I'll say it again. Call the Metro Nashville Police Department, 615-862-8600. But then I'm going to give you a backup, because that doesn't seem to be working for a lot of people who are calling with tips. Right there, BanfieldTips@newsnationnow.com. Drop us a line, BanfieldTips@newsnationnow.com. Call the police first at that number I gave you, 615-862-8600. But then back.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll throw my email out there too. If anybody has anything or wants, knows any information about where Riley is, obviously call the police first. That's the most important thing. Or if you want to email me at letstalklivepodcast@gmail.com, I'll drop that in the chat as well. If you don't get that, you'll see it pop up here in a second. Nightbot will drop it, and you can email me, letstalklivepodcast@gmail.com. All right, let's keep playing through here.
back it up and let us know. And we will, once again, do our best to put the pressure on the Nashville police to call people back. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Go.
All right, let's hear from a gentleman that said Riley Strain, talking about Riley Strain's shirt. This was 12 hours ago from Banfield. Again, News Nation.
And thank
See
you
what
for
happened.
having me. So when I seen and thank you for having me. So when I seen the the podcast with Sabrina on there, my first thing was to go check it out to see if I could rule out anybody at the camp, because I've grown to love them down there. And there's some really good people there. But two, to see if there's any validity to it, because we've all been following the Riley Strain situation. So when I got down there, I, just kind of put my feelers out, because a lot of the people down there trust me. And there's a lot of people down there that, are more than willing to help and to provide information for things like that. The first contact that I talked to, she told me that she said the word is that a guy named Ross had the shirt down there. So I talked to her for a little bit. Another guy told me that he seen the shirt on the same guy, and the reason he noticed it because it was bigger, and it kind of went down further because the guy in question, allegedly, that had the shirt.
So where are the police? Are they not interviewing these people? It's been eyewitnesses. Where are the police? Are they talking to these people? Like, what is going on? Let me just pull this up real quick. Team Brittany, again, thanks for the 5 memberships. Welcome in the new members. FAA, welcome to the membership. WW, welcome in. Lisa, welcome. Tanya, thank you so much. And Mary was gifted a membership as well. All right, let's keep playing here.
Is about my height, which is 5'8". And then I left, and I got a text message from the same girl. She said she actually asked Ross, because when I was down there, I said, hey, have him call me. If he had this shirt, or if he, tell him to call me. Let's see if we can link him up with the investigators or something to maybe get this shirt to him. She said that she talked to him, and that he said he was looking for copper over there by the Fort Nashboro. It's like a log cabin style building right there on Riverfront, and that he found it on the railing, and that it had puke on it, and he just wiped it off, wiped the puke off, and then put it on.
So did he take his shirt off and jump in the river? Was it stolen from him? Like, what's going on here? Where are the police in all of this?
And that's what multiple people said they seen him with that shirt. There was about 4 or 5 that identified him with that shirt.
Triple hearsay.
So even if you maybe were suspect of the first person you asked, you said subsequent people had the same story about this man, who you said his name is Ross, but I think you also aren't sure that that's his real name. Is that correct?
Right. So immediately when I found this information out, I immediately tried to call Crime Stoppers, and the line was busy. So as I was pulling out of the homeless encampment, there was a Metro police officer parked in parallel with the camp. So I pulled right over to him and let him know the information. I also had video of the encounter of the people telling me this and some of the stuff that they told me, and I was able to show him the video. And while I was there, another policeman pulled up, and also an undercover pulled up. So I was able to tell 3 different vehicles of police exactly the situation. I showed them the video, and then I also called my contact from Tent City, and she was able to explain that over the phone while I was there with the police about exactly what he said and where he found it.
Yeah, you can email it. I'll check it out. I'm going to play the press conference by Riley's parents here. That was a day ago in a few minutes. I want to go through that press conference, but I'll take a look at it. Send it over if you want. Thank you.
And then I told him the name. And one of the ways I was able to identify him was because he had gotten some sort of a altercation with another guy at the camp, where the other guy actually went to jail that night. So when I was telling the police officer about this, because I've had a relationship with this police officer before in the camp, I've had to, call the police for a situation down there before. He was able to pull the guy up immediately on his laptop, and I was able to say, yeah, that's who they're saying had the shirt. So, and that's kind of where it ended at that point.
So that man who was seen by multiple people wearing Riley's shirt with vomit on it, which is a brand new detail, and it links up to the family who saw Riley vomiting right just a few hundred yards from where the homeless encampment is. Huh? That man is known to the police. The police know about these reports now. And do you know at this point, Chris, if the police have located the man who goes by the name of Ross, who was seen wearing Riley's shirt with vomit on it?
I honestly don't know. I have made a couple calls down there, and they said they've seen police down there, but they don't know if they've talked to them or not. So they did,
Chris,
they
one
said,
other thing,
yeah.
you just gave me a detail. You said that man who goes by the name of Ross, who was seen wearing Riley's shirt with the vomit on it, said to them, I found it on a railing near Fort Nashboro building between Gay Street and Broadway. And that may not sound like it makes sense to the national audience, but I will tell you in a moment, I'm going to show Riley's exact steps and that exact point, and it's impossible. It's impossible for Riley to have taken off his shirt with vomit on it and put it in the location where that homeless man described finding it, because it's way out of the distance. It's far away from where Riley was seen on surveillance video. So at least that part of where the homeless man says he found Riley's shirt on a railing, it doesn't add up. Chris,
bro, she just debunked this guy on fucking national news. Oh, that was classic. Banfield's like, I'm gonna stop you right here, bro. Like, you trying to get some camera time or what?
will you keep us posted on other details that you hear and check back in with us? It's remarkable information that you've brought to this puzzle, and thank God for you, honestly, because nobody seems to be able to get the police to listen to their reports, and yet you were able to, and I so appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I will absolutely keep you updated. And I've talked to the family today and sent all the video to them so that they can, try to get with the police. I asked to talk to the investigators as well, because I hadn't got a call or anything since Saturday. So
thank you for watching.
All right, let's hear a little bit from Riley's parents, and then I'm going to go to a presser that they had about a day ago. Oh, I have the 911 call also. I'm going to play that. Going to play that as well. Let's hear from Riley's parents. It was 12 hours ago. It says, we are committed to solve this mystery. All right, let's hear.
What do you make?
It's poor parents.
What do you make of the fact that several reputable people, Sabrina Martin, who we played at the beginning of the show, who works with the homeless and made note of that very distinctive shirt. She didn't even know about the story about Riley. She'd never heard there was a missing student. She just remembers serving that man water and realizing the shirt underneath his dirty hoodie was very clean and had a big black pocket on it. She's the first account of the shirt. The second account being Chris Salisbury, who said that other homeless people saw it. What do you make of the fact that if that homeless person, Ross, was telling the truth, he was picking up the shirt over the railing blocks and blocks south in an area where Riley never walked? We know because we know from the video where he walked, and he was nowhere near Broadway and Gay Street. What do you make of that whole notion that there might be a man out there who did have Riley's shirt, and where do you think he got it?
We knew that, we'd have a lot more answers for what we're looking for right now. Like I said, when he goes off video at that street sign saying the height there by the bridge going in under James Robertson, that's the last we've ever seen him on video. Still had the shirt on at that point in time.
Did they update you? I know you've spoken with them every day since Sunday. Have they updated you with satisfying information or helpful information? And are they telling you a lot of things they haven't told us?
We feel like that we've gotten good information from them since, the weekend has started. We also brought in our own people with the United Cajun Navy, and Dave Flagg is working directly with them. And he's also coordinating our response as far as search efforts that we're doing and everything. We feel like between the two, we really are focusing quite well on what's going on, and we're getting more details. We also met with the mayor after our press conference on Monday. I think it was Monday. Yeah. So Tuesday, we met with the mayor and his team. So yes, we're getting more information. Yes, new things are coming in. I know that they have talked to the Sabrina Martin. I don't know what become of that yet, but I do know that they were talking to her because they told us that they were getting.
Good. Thank God. Because as of last night, when we had Sabrina Martin on the show, she said they had not reached out to her. And I was just devastated to hear that, 9-10 days had passed since Sabrina had made her report. Michelle, can I just ask you this? We're at day 12, and today I know there was searching going on at the dam and that they found nothing. As a mom, I would have been relieved by that. I wondered about you at the moment when they made the report that they found nothing at the dam today.
It's just all hard. It's all very hard. I'm thankful. I don't know how to feel, honestly. It's hard. It's all heartbreaking. We just want to find our son.
Ugh.
And
Oh, thanks, Ben. I'll check it out.
I'm sorry.
I understand. We want to help you find your son, and I've been very frustrated.
I know.
Go ahead,
And
Michelle.
We appreciate the help. We do. And thank you for getting the word out about our boy. And
We have asked the Nashville Police to join us every single night of this story.
What a great husband, too, to sit in front of her like that and protect her. That's a very protective position that he's in. It's also very comforting. He's shielding her. But wow. I couldn't imagine being in this situation,
to get the word out. Because we know that viewers are responding. We know that TikTokers are responding. We know that social media and bloggers have actually helped to advance evidence in this case. And they have refused every single night that we've requested that they be on the air to help update this case and keep it in the public eye. So I'll tell you what, you have our commitment that we are going to continue to try to solve this exhaustingly sad mystery. But I can tell you from the bottom of our hearts.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We feel for you.
Wow. I've never seen Banfield get emotional. Wow. I've never seen this before. I've never seen her break. Wow. I've never seen that before. Usually news people keep very straight and don't break and don't show any emotion. I've never seen. Wow. Let's back that up. Wow. I've never seen that.
This exhaustingly sad mystery. But I
don't think she's acting.
I can tell you from the bottom of our hearts.
That's real emotion there. That's real emotion. That's not acting.
We feel for you. Thank you for being on. Chris
Wow.
Whited and Michelle Whited. Sorry. I'm going to continue doing the show. We're going to continue putting evidence together, and we will continue to be in touch with you. Thank you for being on tonight.
You're welcome. Just one more thing. We have more crews coming in. Texas EquiSearch is coming in to help. They'll be here Friday. Drones in the air Saturday and Sunday.
I don't think she's
Ryan,
acting.
Riley's dad, is still on the river with the crews right now. So we got a lot of stuff going.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's play the benefit of the doubt here, okay? When someone goes to the hospital and they pass away, and that doctor has to come out and tell that family that your son, your daughter, your mother, your father is dead, they don't cry. They don't get emotional. They're not allowed to attach to the victim or the person that's passed away. It's the same thing with police. When police come knock on your door and they tell you that someone has passed away in your family from a car accident, a murder, or whatever it's going to be, they hold that emotion back. They're trained to do that. Mainstream media, they're trained to do that. They put up with a lot of stuff. I got to give I believe Banfield. You may not believe, you may not agree with me. I felt real emotion there. I felt her holding back. You know, it's professionalism being on TV. It's one of the things that they have to practice for. They're not allowed to show emotion either way or break, I guess, character and show that. But it's the same thing. Doctors, police, EMT, first responders, they hold back those emotions. They're not allowed to do that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, here you go. Pretty Bug says, faking or not, what does it really matter? It was very surprising to me. I've never seen her get emotional like that before. Okay, let's keep playing.
Thank you for all the help.
EquiSearch is a phenomenal organization. I've worked with them for over 20 years. You'll be in great hands with them. They do great work and they have great results. So I am hoping that yields positive results. Thank you again, guys, for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from the family. It's a press conference from a day ago. Actually, no, let's hear the 911 call first. Again, not super confirmed. It possibly could be. It looks like it's coming. Actually, no, it's coming from News Channel 5 Nashville, so it has been released. Let's play this. Let's hear it.
Just your emergency.
Hi, I don't have an address. I'm trying to file a missing persons report, and the Central Police is closed, and the sheriff's office said that we couldn't do it there.
Okay, so where exactly are you now?
We're in front of the Central Police, how do you say that? Precinct? How do you say that? Precinct. The Central Police Precinct on...
Okay, there's 601 Korean Veterans Boulevard and downtown Nashville, like right across from the Music City Center?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that where you're able to wait for a police officer to come and speak to you?
Yeah, we can wait for an officer here.
Okay, what's the phone number you're calling from?
Oh, my phone?
Now, this was his fraternity brother calling.
Yes, in case we needed to reach you back, what is the best number to reach you at? And what is your name, sir?
Braden, Brayden.
And your last name?
Baltz.
Okay. And who is it that you're wanting to report is missing?
We're here on a fraternity formal trip. It's one of my good buddies.
Okay. What is his name?
His name is Riley Strain. Riley, Riley, Strain, Strain.
Okay. Is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
He's white. 22-year-old, 6'5", blonde.
Okay. And what was he last seen wearing?
Outside of Luke Bryan's bar last night at like 10. And then the last time his location on his phone was by the sheriff's office at like 11 p.m.
Okay. And what color clothing was he last seen wearing?
He's wearing jeans, boots, and a half black shirt, half brown, light brown.
Okay, and you said it last showed outside the sheriff's department?
Like around that area by the river, by the sheriff's department over there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like they haven't realized the totality of the situation. I mean, these are kids, Gen Zers. You know, they're kids. They're not thinking on a wide scale. They're just like, where's our friend? You know, like we can't find him. What's going on? They're not understanding the totality of the situation. You know, he may be dead. He may be hurt or injured somewhere. He may be having a medical emergency. He may have been kidnapped. You know, they're kids. They're not getting it. I mean, what I'm hearing here is a typical reaction from a young kid. It wouldn't be like a parent that would be calling, freaking out. You know, we can't find our friend. So we'll keep playing through. What do y'all think? Should they be losing their shit a little bit more? Or I think it's interesting that he said something about being close to the sheriff's office, the last ping that came from his phone. Yeah, I mean, Ben makes a good point. They're just thinking he's lost.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Does he have any life-sustaining medications or disabilities?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it too. You know, Mary says maybe they think he just got drunk and wandered off, maybe with some girl to another party, to another college, whatever. You know, they haven't figured out. You know, they haven't figured it out. They're just like, where's our friend? You know, where's our buddy? Like, where the hell is he?
And you said he has a phone, so it's a cell phone, right?
Yeah, it's an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
What is the number?
But it's hold on. Give me 1 second. I got you. Sure. All right, you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
You said the last four were 4198?
Yes.
Okay. And are you going to be waiting there at the door of the precinct, or are you going to be waiting in your car?
I mean, yeah, we're at the front door of the precinct.
Yeah, I think they said it was closed.
I've got the call sent there at the Central Precinct, 601 Korean Veterans Boulevard in downtown, right across from Music City Center. We'll get an officer out to you as soon as we can. Please call us back if something changes before they arrive.
Interesting. What the hell was that?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Like I say, just call us back if something changes before they arrive.
That's fine.
All right.
We'll be here.
You.
All right, that's that. All right, let's go to the parents. They had a presser yesterday. Let's hear a little bit from Riley's parents.
Yes, sir. All right. Good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. With everything that's gone on in the past few days, we've been reached out to, and we've spoken with Dave with the United Cajun Navy. We feel that we need the extra resources to come in and help us as we try to get more organized for our family and see if we can't bring some more clues to light. We're very grateful for everyone that's done everything so far. We ask that you continue. We ask that you work and help with us to become more organized, because we don't want individuals out there alone without us knowing, so that we want to make sure everybody's careful. Safety is the number one priority. We appreciate more than you'll ever know the outpouring that we've received from the community, from the press, and everyone else involved. Our goal is still to bring Riley home. We feel that is still a very pliable goal.
What a nightmare.
We feel like Dave and his team and the volunteers that he knows are very skilled and will help bring this for us. This time, I'm going to turn it over to Dave and let him kind of bring some information to light. If we have questions at the end, we'll be more than happy to address, but I do ask that we have a little bit of courtesy for what we're going through right now and give us just, a few questions, and we'll again meet as we have more information, okay? Thank you. Dave?
My name is David Flagg. For those who don't have the spelling, last name is F like Foxtrot, L-A-G-G.
As this podcast is going on right now, Riley Strain is trending on Twitter. Hashtag Riley Strain is trending on Twitter.
And I am the National Director of Operations for the United Cajun Navy. Those of you who may not know, people who in the audience that may not know, we are a disaster response organization. We respond to natural disasters, all over the country. We're formed during Hurricane Katrina when New Orleans was flooded so badly. We had just a bunch of good old boys that had boats and took it upon themselves to go out into the waters of New Orleans and start rescuing people, taking them supplies, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward to today, our organization has been to almost every major natural disaster in this country, to include Hurricane Michael, Hurricane Ian, the Texas wildfires. We have people there now. The fires in Maui. So that's kind of an overview, brief overview of what we do. We also obviously get involved in missing persons cases. We do search and rescue and focus on providing supplies of whatever nature the people might need them, food, clothing, etc. I was to touch on the reason that we're here today. We were contacted by Riley's family and asked to step up and provide some more resources to this search activity. And we have been pretty much involved from the very first day that we heard about it, which I believe was on Monday, would have been the 10th, 11th, whatever day that was. We've had an airboat here on the river. We've had people involved behind the scenes and following this and understanding what's been happening here with regard to the search efforts of individuals. We felt that it was probably a real good idea for us to step in and organize a structured and organized search activity for this. We also have, today we have a hovercraft coming in and a pilot to run that craft. If he gets there early enough, we will be on the river today.
I'm going to get to see if there's any question and answers here. Hang on.
I'm sure they have something to say about it, but I would very seriously at this point doubt that there's been any criminal activity.
Here we go. I want to hear question and answers.
Are you satisfied with the job Metro Police have done, and what are you hoping that this additional volunteer effort will do to help you?
Yes, we feel like they've handled it well. We know that there's an excessive amount of information coming into them that they're having to dissect. It's hard as a parent, as we are now 10, 11, 12 days into this, and we're trying to, find Riley, come up with, an outcome here. And so, yes, as the days drag on, we are frustrated. We know they're doing their job. We've seen what they've got,
We know they're doing things that we haven't been informed about. That's probably with any investigation like this. There's details that they're not going to share with us that we're sure they're working on too. We don't know what all for sure exactly what they've done as far as searches goes. We don't know some of the information, but that's not to say they haven't done it.
Exactly. And, Dave is kind of an extra resource for us, a point of contact with his foundation, his group, to be able to help us so that we can focus and make sure that we're doing everything as best as possible. It's been hard being from out of town, being from 6.5 hours away, to put a structured program together when you don't know everywhere that you're at. You don't know the lay of the land as well. you don't have your family and your resources that are in your hometown to be able to help guide you and lean on to build a organized search. And that has bothered us, and Dave is our answer.
Kind of reminding a little bit, I know that y'all saw the bar footage for the first time potentially. Is there anything significant there that you feel comfortable sharing at this time?
The only thing really that we have seen with our own eyes is in the bar footage would be Riley and his friend going down the stairs just before he exited the bar. His friend turns around and goes back up the stairs. We're not focusing on a lot of the stuff that happened earlier. We're still pushing forward, and we're trying to figure out where he's at now.
What do you anticipate police will release data from cell phones, iWatch?
I am not able to comment on that at this point. I know that they're still digging through information, so hopefully they'll be able to provide information here, as we move forward. We know that Riley was possibly texting and communicating with multiple people. Again, we don't know the exact people. We don't know the exact timeline, or who the last person was.
Anything right now would kind of be speculation on our part.
Yeah.
Exactly what that was.
No need to muddy the water. So I'm sure the detectives, as information becomes available that is pertinent like that, they will provide to us, and we will share as we can.
And again, we have a couple representatives from the police department here, and that may be a question that you could ask them. Before they come up, there's just, anybody else have questions for the family before I interrupt?
I do. Michelle, the last time you and I spoke, you told me he was here with 15 of his fraternity brothers. Not one of them left the bar to go with him. I know you were close. I was some of his friends as well. What have those conversations been like since?
So someone asked a question about talking to the fraternity brothers that were with him that night and asking, have they been cooperative? So we're going to have you been speaking with them, and have they been cooperative? So I want to hear what the mom has to say here.
When I spoke, you told me he was here with 15 of his fraternity brothers. Not one of them left the bar to go with him. I know you were close. I was some of his friends as well. What have those conversations been like since?
With the boys, I mean, they're heartbroken also. I mean, he's their best friend. And we love these boys like our own. And it's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we really are focusing on
bringing Riley home.
his last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
Is that it?
I have a question. Can you tell me how many people are part of your group who are actually searching and are there different times that you're searching?
So we are an all volunteer organization. So people who work with us, volunteer with us, have jobs, have families. And so there's at any given time, that number is going to fluctuate. Sometimes it might be 2 people and sometimes it might be 200 people. At this point, I am the only boots on the ground for the United Cajun Navy, and that is going to change here very shortly. We're going to get as many people who are associated with our organization involved in this search. The ground search is what I'm referring to. We have a couple representatives from MMPD who'd like to speak with you, but before they do, there's one thing I do want to say. And if I hurt somebody's feelings out there, oh well. I'm a retired Pennsylvania State Trooper. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about the police are or are not handling this investigation properly. They should have done this. They should have done that. If you're not a trained police officer, your speculation is just that, just speculation. I've been in constant contact with Detective Chandler, and I know that they have been making every effort that they can to bring this investigation, this search to a close. So please, you folks out there on social media, think real hard about what you're going to post before you post it. And that goes as well for posts about the family and about this investigation. The family doesn't really need to see posts on social media that say, well, maybe there's a serial killer out there and that's where he chunked him in the water. That's not cool.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. But listen, law enforcement get it wrong too. I mean, look at the situation in Canton. So I listen. I get it. Again, I'm a huge staunch supporter of law enforcement, but they get it wrong too, and they get involved in cover-ups and shit like that. We already know about all that. Brielle, thank you for being a member. Team Brittany, drop the 5. Thank you. Kelly, welcome in. Isaiah, my old buddy from work. T. El Detective Dewan is gifted a membership. Appreciate you all. All right, let's play a little bit more of this presser.
Anybody got questions for me? Yes, ma'am. Give me the first part of that again. I missed it. Yes, ma'am. Well, like I said, we have 2 boats coming, and that's going to be obviously our water search. This terrain presents a very, very difficult challenge for a ground search. I'm sure y'all have seen on TV that, when there's a field or a wooded area that you have a line of people.
I want to hear what's these next. I think this is state police maybe or representatives. Let's see what's going on here. I'm just gonna skip through. I'm not gonna play this whole thing. Let's play through here.
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler. This is Sergeant Bob Nielsen. We're with the Homicide Cold Case Unit for Metro Nashville Police, and we've been heading up the investigation into Riley's disappearance.
Homicide. Homicide detectives. Interesting. I don't know if that's just natural protocol there in Tennessee, or are they possibly thinking this is a homicide? Not like a missing persons unit. He said detective and homicide. So that makes me think a little bit more. What is going on? Interesting.
Mr. Flagg said we've been in contact with him since the very beginning, coordinating what we could as far as with the family's active participation in locating Riley. That has been, and to this day remains, the top priority. There has not been any evidence that has come forward to change this to an ongoing investigation at this time. Regardless of what else has been put out there, there are several leads that we are following up with on a constant basis, and an influx of information that is coming forward at all times. We are going through every single piece of that information, but the priority remains locating Riley.
Could be.
As he said, I'm Sergeant Nielsen. I gave a briefing to our chain of command all the way up to the Chief Drake yesterday. They're well aware of where we are with the investigation at this point, as well as the resources. We do have our boat going back in the water this afternoon, along with members of the Urban Search and Rescue Team. They'll be combing the area, researching the area. It's been mentioned already today, and it's also been asked, things like, why was that card found and why didn't we find it? As Mr. Flagg pointed out, there's a lot of variables in these investigations, and if you've not been skilled or trained or experienced in these
Makes
investigations,
sense.
you don't understand a lot of these things.
Treat it as a homicide until they rule it an accident or just a missing person. Aha.
As Don Aaron put out the other day, when we start a missing person investigation, we're looking for a person. We're looking for a body. We're not looking for small pieces of evidence. Can we miss some things? Sure. But our primary goal is to find
Rogue,
Strain and
welcome
bring him
in.
safely. Think of it like a large crime scene. A lot of times you have to deal with the victims first before you can go back and start looking for those precise pieces of evidence. Okay, that's kind of our focus here. We're looking for Mr. Strain, then we go back and look again. And because these 2 ladies over here were kind enough to volunteer their time and helped us by finding that, now we can do a more refined search with our Urban Search and Rescue, which is what they're going to be doing this afternoon. And as Mr. Flagg said, with a lot of volunteers, if you're coming down to volunteer, understand it is very treacherous terrain. That's why we're using Urban Search and Rescue and not just anyone on the street, because our people are trained, they're equipped, they have everything that they need to conduct these searches. You won't even see a patrol officer go to some of these areas that are more treacherous. Why? Because they don't have the rappelling equipment and things of that nature. So we're utilizing all the resources we can. We've also going to be reaching out to Office of Emergency Management. They've been helping us quite a bit. Over the weekend, they've been back out with boat, divers, cadaver dogs. They run sonar. Our boat has sonar. It's the same stuff. People have asked about TBI. It's the same resources they have. So there's not been a need for us to get additional assistance from these other agencies. However, like Mr. Flagg, Cajun Navy, they have that experience. They want to volunteer their time. They've been very gracious in talking with us, saying they're going to help us out. Not a problem at all. But again, if you have a structured organization like United Cajun Navy, you have the safety protocols in place. You have the equipment and the resources to utilize to conduct that search, as well as to make sure everybody's safe doing that. We're going to continue.
To me, it just sounds like no one has any information at all. I mean, they're just talking about the protocol, who's helping, but they have nothing. They haven't said anything. We think this, we think possibly that. I mean, no one knows. No one knows anything. It's crazy.
To search. We're still filtering all the Crime Stoppers tips.
Christine, thank you for becoming a new member. Appreciate your support.
We've gotten. We've had people get frustrated with us because they'll call us, say, on a Monday, and they don't know why we haven't got back to them on Monday. And I've had to explain to them, we have to weigh every piece of evidence we get, or information rather, evenly. We can't just jump to the top, because quite honestly, there's a lot of tips that we're getting that are not tips. They mean well, but they're not tips. So we have to prioritize what's actually providing information. And some of the other things I have my detectives doing today is recanvassing the area for video. And while we don't think Riley may have been in any of these homeless camps away from this area, those are areas that we're going to be working on this afternoon ourselves.
In regards to, we've had questions about some of the
Here we
behind
go.
the scenes things we're doing, search warrants, that kind of thing. Please understand it's an open investigation. We cannot share that information with the public because it's an open investigation. It can-
Search warrants.
If it were to turn into a criminal investigation, well, obviously now we're negatively impacting that situation. So please understand, if you call us and you're asking us questions, there may be some things we cannot answer, and it's to maintain the integrity of the investigation, as well as any potential evidence, should there be a criminal component to it. I would also ask, as Mr. Flagg and everybody has, if you have questions for the family, you want to help the family, that's great, but please also respect their privacy. These kinds of incidents that happen, sometimes people with the best of intentions don't know the best way to approach people, and it can cause more stress for the family. So please be mindful of that.
One of the other things I wanted to make sure everybody understood, all the businesses and everybody we have asked for assistance as far as video or any other information, we have had absolute cooperation from everybody involved. There has never been a time to where anyone has had any issue in giving us any other information. To go along with what Mr. Flagg said, I know earlier I said this is not a criminal investigation this time. Should we uncover something that would change that, it's important that we go through one centralized source to where we know we can then change the manner in which we're searching and can start to conduct that in the proper manner. So if you do want to volunteer, we welcome all eyes to come help try to find Riley. But if we stumble across something where we need to change the direction of the investigation, it is important that it's through one coordinated source and they're able to get the information back to us so we can adjust accordingly.
I think the only thing I would like to add before we open up the questions is one of the concerns people have called in multiple times about is that he was, Riley was being chased, he was being followed. We have seen no evidence of that. We've been through the video multiple times, and that is the reason why we released that body camera footage, because that officer had an interaction with him, and we've talked to other people that have indicated to us there was no injuries on Mr. Strain when they observed him, and there was no indication that he was running from anything or he was in fear. There's been a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation out there, and we're putting out everything we can to dispel all of those misconceptions. We're happy to answer those questions. But again, people are taking what has already been put out, what the media's put out, and then putting their spin on it, calling back with Crime Stoppers tips that are not actually tips. They're their theory on what happened. We love people calling in and helping us, but we need actionable leads that we can follow up on. So please understand too, when you don't see us, like my detectives out in the field constantly, it's because we're trying to prioritize those tips that we're getting to find what's actually useful information that we can follow up on. Because sometimes we get tips that we can't follow up on. It's just a statement somebody's making. So with that, you have a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So the credit card being discovered, separated from wherever Riley is, and potentially separated from his wallet. Some would say that could potentially go either way. Sure, maybe it just fell out and he didn't even realize, or maybe it was forcefully removed. So how do you decide which it is and which side to lean on, whether missing person versus criminal? So a lot of folks would say, well, that could certainly indicate, or lay people would say, that could certainly indicate criminal activity.
Once we recovered the card, it was secured and processed properly to where it could be examined as far as going into a criminal matter at a later time if it's so needed.
How does the United Cajun Navy fit into MMPD's command structure?
We pretty much allow our people with the emergency contingency section and USAR to coordinate with them because, we do cold case investigations. We don't handle that part. So our job is typically to get them in touch with them and let them coordinate between the two because they have the knowledge and expertise and they know how to communicate with one another and schedule with each other what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. It would be kind of a moot point for us to step in the middle of that other than to act as a liaison, get them in contact with one another.
Two entities, you said get them in touch with them.
With one part of our department that handles like the urban search and rescue and the boat searches and everything, we get that unit in contact with Mr. Flagg.
So they're coordinating their efforts.
That's what we're planning because our resources are coming back out this afternoon, and that's kind of our goal is with Mr. Flagg here today is get him in touch with the supervisors over that unit so they can make that coordination.
And then at what point would your office decide to no longer continue the investigation?
Until we have no other actionable leads, but because we work cold case, we continue working it until we just have nothing. And as new information comes in, we continue to pick it right back up and go right back to it. This is not going away soon, and I have detectives that work cold case homicides that are decades old, and we continue to work on those. In fact, one of my detectives has been able to close 2 of them last year. So I say that to say, this isn't going away. We keep going until we have absolutely nothing, no new tips, no traces of anything to follow up on. But until that happens, we're still going to be out here doing everything.
How would you describe the actionable leads in front of MMPD right now?
In what regard?
You said we're going to keep going until we have no action.
Meaning if somebody calls in with a theory, okay, that's one thing. But unless they're giving us information like a name, a location where they saw a suspicious person, thought they saw a piece of an item that belonged to Riley, that doesn't help us. So we have to filter through to look for the things they're saying. Hey, around this time I saw John Doe at this location. He might have been wearing a similar shirt, or maybe he was talking to Riley. That's actionable. That's something we can follow up on. We can look for video cameras in the area. But when they just say, I just saw a homeless guy in the area, that doesn't help us because it's nothing we can follow up on. Does that help?
So enough of those actionable leads are still coming in right
Yes,
now.
sir.
It's very
Yes, sir. And actually, that's why we were late coming up here, is because we've been following up on more of those.
When we last heard from you guys on Thursday, you were still waiting on cell phone and Apple Watch data. Have you received all of that at this point? And if you have, what have you been able to find from it?
At this point right now, what we have originally from Apple is what we're working off of, and all of the location data is what we've already released. So at this point in time, that's the same information we're going to be working off of.
I have a simple question. On the video that I saw, a lot of people were around, and they could have done something to help this young man. They were stuck in around drunk. And maybe we should push the national. But if you see that happen, don't be afraid to help somebody. I mean, literally, on that video, I saw a lot of people that saw how drunk that guy was. It could have been stopped. Somebody could have said, "Hey, man, you need some help. Are you okay?" Especially once you see somebody falling.
You know, you're 100% correct. And unfortunately, that is the state of our society.
I know everybody's
today.
trying to help somebody. I mean, literally, on that video, I saw a lot of people that saw how drunk that guy was. It could have been stopped. Somebody could have said, "Hey, man, you need some help. Are you okay?"
Oh, okay. So sorry. I tend to mute when we're playing a video, but so my dad just asked, geofencing, find my phone. Can't they ping the phone? All good points, Dad. Don't know if they have. Also, I'm listening to this reporter asking a question. He asked the detectives a question. Hey, listen, we've seen the video. We see a lot of people around him. They can see how drunk he was. Why didn't anybody stop? And this is what my point was at the very beginning of the video, because people nowadays just don't do anything to help people. We don't have conversations anymore. We don't try to reach out and help someone when they're hurt. They may look in distress. It's just the way people are. People are dicks. People are fucking dicks now. They don't care. People only care about themselves. And it's pretty shitty. It's pretty shitty. You know, it's not cool. You know, obviously this guy was in distress. All right, let's play through and hear what their answer is.
Especially once you see somebody falling.
You know, you're 100% correct. And unfortunately, that is the state of our society
I know everybody's
today.
trying to help somebody.
And
especially-
I agree with you 100%. You know, Nashville population, if you see something, say something or do something.
They don't say
Simple as
anything.
that.
Because I watched that and I'm like, nobody did anything to say, "Hey, man, this guy shouldn't be out walking around."
Right.
So,
Any other questions?
God bless you guys.
Could you
all right?
both say your name and spell it one more time in your title?
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler, Chandler.
I'm Sergeant Robert Nielsen, Nielsen. Metro Nashville Police Department, Cold Case Unit. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, could you all just go over again what it is that you say that there's no sign of foul play he was not being in the criminal investigation at this time? Is it a lack of evidence to the contrary, or do you have other information that suggests that?
Well, right now, it's a lack of any evidence of a crime being committed. A lot of people have come up to us with various items claiming that it's indicative of it. And please understand, as a supervisor, I've been working homicides for 10 years. He's been working for a long time as a detective. And we're skilled in criminal investigations. What, evidence can be different possibilities, whether physical evidence, whether it's digital evidence, or whatever. And if we don't have anything like we don't at this point that indicates that there's any indication of foul play, then if we go down that rabbit hole, then we're wasting resources and time for possibly looking for him, because now we're looking for evidence of a crime. And while we're open to the possibility it could be a crime, I mean, obviously there's always that possibility, right? But we haven't seen anything. And just because his bank card was found there, just because somebody heard something, until we have more to shore that up, we can't say that a crime occurred. So as soon as we have anything, if it exists, that indicates a crime occurred, assault, or whatever the case may be, we immediately follow up on that. But we have to have evidence or probable cause. And a lot of people don't understand what probable cause is, but we have to have probable cause a crime may even occur. So that's why it's easy to jump to those conclusions. But that's where we have to tell people, this is why we don't do things at an accelerated rate. We have to do things methodically. Like Mr. Flagg and his team, they do methodical searches, right? Our urban search and rescue, they do methodical searches. Because if we just jump to conclusions every single time, we could actually miss more evidence, whether there was a crime or not, but still evidence of where he'd been or what happened to him. If we're just running all over the place going, oh, what crime happened? But now we're not looking over here anymore. Does that make sense? Does that help?
Has there been any other evidence connected to Mr. Street since Sunday?
Not that I'm
In which regard?
As far as physical evidence, is that the only?
Now, outside the debit card, that's the only physical evidence we have right now.
Oh, and somebody did find a phone, but I just want to put out there, it is not a phone that he had. He had an Apple phone. This was a Google Android phone. So I know that that's been a question that's come up as well. I just Want to go ahead and clarify that.
Sorry, you said someone found a phone.
Yes, ma'am. They found it in the vicinity. They brought it to us immediately while we were out there Sunday. We did collect it just because we don't know who it belongs to. Don't know if it is in relation to this case. But right now, it's not his phone. We know that because we know he had an Apple phone, Apple Watch. This was an Android device.
They were all on Broadway.
Given that there are so many search areas now, search groups, I'm sorry, that are now participating in this effort, are you positive? How positive are you that Riley is still in this vicinity?
Well, we're not, but we're searching everywhere. Last Friday, we got a call that they thought they saw him up towards the Titans practice field somewhere, and we went out there and looked. So we're not just limited to here, but when we have somebody go missing, you have to start with the last place they were seen. You can't be that you know for a fact that they were seen. You can't just go, well, I thought I saw him over here, because a lot of people think that the video cameras everywhere catches everything, and they don't. We have people claiming there's video across the river, but some of them don't reach this riverbank. So if we start searching over there, but we don't know he was over there, but we know he was on this side of the river, this is going to do us more good, because that's going to allow the people that are trained in doing searches to have starting point and have more tangible things to look at, as opposed to just going around and speculating which areas he could be. Obviously, if we have something that leads us further down, we will. But right now, that's why the areas that they're focusing on is this immediate area, because we know for a fact that was his last known point of contact with anyone.
We know Riley was asked to leave the bar around 9:45 to see the subsequent videos, but can you give us a timeline of where he was at on Broadway or other places in the city prior to his crime car?
Prior to that, is he was here with his friends enjoying a night on Broadway. Our focus begins when he leaves from that location, and then he starts going up 3rd Avenue to Church Street and proceeds over to the Gay Street corridor right below us, because that's where he went missing.
But there was a big question on whether or not he was overserved on Broadway with Brian Park came out and said he had one drink. Were there other bars that he was at that you guys are looking into on whether or not he was overserved?
We're pulling video surveillance from every location that we're aware that he was at. As far as this time right now, like I said, our focus is on locating Riley. Anything subsequent from that will be followed up once we've concluded that part.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of end it there for us. We have some follow-ups we have to do right now, but our PIO office will definitely be putting out more information as we get it. The family, we've been in contact with them and updating them as soon as we can. So appreciate your time. And if you have any other questions in the meantime for our department, please focus them to our PIO for today. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Fine.
All right. We'll do one more here to wrap this puppy up. And this is the most updated information as to what happened today. If it wants to play. Come on, video. Come on, buddy.
University of Missouri student Riley Strain. It continues today, and there's more information coming to light since the weekend. Riley Strain's bank card being found yesterday, and today police releasing new video of Riley as well interacting with a police officer. We want to bring in Fox 17 Nashville reporter Kelly Avellino. She joins us live with more on that information. Kelly, what more do we know about that video, and is it helping police at all?
Come on, buddy.
Well, that video was taken in the last known spot that Riley Strain was seen. So it doesn't really move the ball down the field as much as the family would hope. I spoke to Chris Dingman today, who is a family friend. Now, he tells me the family is very grateful for all of the effort that police have been putting in. They're certainly grateful that TikTokers found Riley's debit card yesterday behind me over by the riverbank. I can tell you, though, there are some questions at this point. The family is rather perplexed that it took 2 days for a detective to be assigned to this case in the first place. They also are perplexed as to why it is not being considered a criminal investigation at this point. A day after a stunning discovery by 2 young women on TikTok.
And my stomach dropped.
Riley's bank card, found on a riverbank near where he was last seen, is now being analyzed for fingerprints.
How many people have looked?
No, it's just someone trolling. I just looked. There's no body that's been found. That's a troll. Ignore it.
At that particular scene and been on it, and it took those specific young ladies to find that card.
But Chris Dingman, a family friend working daily with Riley's parents on any leads, tells Fox 17 News there are concerns over how Metro Police are handling the search. We sent police a list of questions, including why just today this officer body cam video.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Showing Riley in his last known location by the James Robertson Parkway Bridge and the river was released 9 days after it was captured. We asked why an actual detective wasn't assigned to the case until 2 days after Riley was reported missing, according to his family.
I wish something would have been done sooner. We've discussed this. The first 48 is so crucial.
Why emergency management crews didn't appear to search the riverbank thoroughly until Wednesday, 5 days after Riley was reported missing. Urban search and rescue teams hitting the ground on Thursday. There's also this surveillance video that Fox 17 News exclusively uncovered of Riley crashing into a pole, then holding his head. The owner of the shop saying as of 3 days later, he still hadn't been questioned by detectives.
You know, don't shoot the messenger, but I think if we had people with badges right now that was covering this as strongly as the media has, we'd have Riley home.
After Riley's card was found yesterday, more concerns as to why the area wasn't intensely recombed by police.
My TikTokers were extremely confused why nothing was taped off.
And perhaps the most pressing question for Riley's family, why more resources haven't been brought in as police still consider this a missing persons case and not criminal.
It blows our mind that, you know, the card that was found yesterday in the family's mind is evidence that there was a crime, yet we're being told, well, that may not be what it takes to reclassify this from a missing persons. And that is very frustrating.
The Uvalde Foundation announcing Sunday it's sending volunteers to help in the search effort, stating, quote, volunteers are focusing on the downtown Nashville area as they do not believe current searches along the Cumberland River will produce results.
Lois, thank you for the 5 on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Metro Police not directly answering any of Fox 17 News' questions, but saying in an email, no evidence of foul play has surfaced as work continues to locate Riley Strain. On Sunday evening, Riley's parents met with some of the detective team and received a full briefing on the work being done. They were also shown available video. And Metro Police here in Nashville certainly dealing with staffing shortages as many other police stations across the country continue to as well. Police here are also looking for a homeless man who reportedly last saw Riley when he stumbled into some bushes along this stretch. Again, the last spot he was seen on camera or by witnesses.
Kelly, thank you for that update. You know, police have put out several of those updates on social media as well. That includes this one here placed on X, talking about an autopsy performed on an unidentified man that was found deceased in that Cumberland River, saying that that showed no signs of foul play trauma. He's possibly Hispanic, wearing black jeans, a maroon shirt, a Puma tennis shoe, and white watch. I want to ask you, though, because as soon as that report came in that police had possibly found a body in the river, were people in Nashville concerned that it could possibly be Riley? What was the reaction to this?
Absolutely. So many local folks who have been following this case, and most importantly, Riley's family immediately rushing down here to the Riverside when that report came in yesterday. Again, that body turning out not to be Riley Strain. And just in the last hour, we've had another report of a potential body in this area that turning out to be a female. So certainly a roller coaster
Fucking
for
bodies
this
they
family.
finding down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone hoping for answers. Fox
What's
17's
going on?
Kelly Avellino live in Nashville. Kelly, thanks so much.
Fuck me dead. I want to see, I'm seeing some things here on X. Here's some updates of the search team. It says happening now, night search for hashtag Riley Strain can see deeper with lights than you can do during the day. They moved around and are heading down river. Bank is not steep at the water line. Wow. You can see that water's, it's rough. Very rough. Let me back out and take a look and see what else I can come up with here on the Twitter. You're still talking about the shirt. 911 call, we've played that. Let's see. Oh, check this out. Here's something of the incline on the riverbanks, what it looks like down there. It's pretty dirty. Check this out. A lot of homeless. No audio, but yeah, there's a lot of homeless people down there. Woof. God, it's dirty. Wow. That is really treacherous, that riverbank. Oh, there's needles everywhere, I'm sure. Yeah, Ben, that's JLR. I've played his stuff in the past. I'm not gonna play that. I appreciate you sending it. I'm just trying to like get away from playing other streamers stuff. If it's mainstream, you know. But yeah, I appreciate it. Wow. It's intense. All right, let me see if I got anything else here before we wrap this one up. Thanks for being here tonight. Good show tonight. Very informative. I'll continue to follow this. Let's see if I can find anything else on the Twitter. More just videos. Oh God, this is heartbreaking. His mom and a photo of Riley here, and we'll end the stream with this here. So Riley Strain has been missing from Nashville, Tennessee since March 8th, and this has been a tragedy for all loved ones. They are devastated. I hope they would be found by now. He has to be in the water somewhere. I'm going to retweet this and do the hashtag Riley Strain. So we'll hashtag that and send that out. All right, folks, I think we're going to end this one tonight. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. No, I mean, I've played his stuff in the past. I don't have an issue with JLR. We did a lot. We're like 2 hours in. I'm gonna let everybody, go for tonight. But I'll continue. Maybe we'll pull it up next time. I'm tired. I worked all day, and it's like 9:45. So I'm gonna shut this one down. I appreciate it. We'll continue to follow the story. I'll do some more lives on this as new information comes out. I'm very curious. I hope this poor young man gets found, and hopefully he's not hurt. Hopefully he makes it back to his family, but I don't know. It's not looking good. Not looking good right now. But hey, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. He could be somewhere, a hotel or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. But we'll continue to follow this case. I appreciate you all jumping in. Yeah, I've had Steve on my show multiple times, Robin. Go back and watch my Chelsea Grimm streams. I've had Steve on twice. Love Steve. Super nice guy. Very informative. Love him when he comes up on the panel. He's come over here quite a few times and joined me over here. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of this one. It's late. I'm tired. Take care. We will continue to follow this. Thank you all for watching tonight. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. What do you think has happened with Riley? Hope that he makes it back to his family. Gosh. Sad. Very sad situation. All right, I'm going to hit the outro. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
True crime, we going deep in the dark. Yeah, peeling back the layers, expose the hidden and mark. From the streets to the alleys where the secrets lie. Getting into minds of the wicked, no alibi. True crime, unraveling the web of evil. No stone left unturned. We dive into the crime. Yeah, we digging up the dirt, bringing justice to the crime. LTL True Crime, unveiling dark realities of the crime. Unraveling the web of evil. No stone left unturned. We dive into the